picture this. It's a Tuesday. It is pouring rain. You know, the kind that soaks you in about 3 seconds.
Oh, I know that, right?
You just pulled into the driveway, your arms are totally loaded with groceries, and you're doing that awkward hip bump thing to get the door open.
Hit key fumble. We've all been there.
But you don't have to. You walk up, the door just unlocks, it sees your phone. The hallway lights fade up to this warm glow.
Not that blinding interrogation light.
Exactly. And the thermostat has already cranked the heat because it saw you were 10 minutes out. You just dump the bags and say goodnight to the house.
Then it all just happens. The door's locked, security's on.
Everything sounds like a dream.
It sounds lovely. It sounds like a very high-end hotel or maybe the opening scene of a sci-fi movie before the AI goes rogue.
See, that's where my brain goes to. But here's the big question we're wrestling with today. Is this a practical reality for a normal person? Or is home automation just, a fancy term for expensive toys?
It's a totally valid skepticism. I mean, we see these commercials with people having like complex conversations with their refrigerators.
Right.
But we rarely talk about the nuts and bolts. Does it save cash? Is it even safe? And frankly, does your 1990s house have the electrical guts to handle it?
Right, because nobody wants a smart home that's dumb enough to start an electrical fire.
Precisely. So to get to the bottom of this, we've pulled together insights from industry pros, leaning heavily on data from the team at AT Electric LLC.
Okay.
And we're going to look at the ROI, sure, but we're going to spend a good chunk of time on the unsexy stuff, the wiring, the panels, the infrastructure that makes all that magic actually happen.
So our mission is to move past the cool factor and find out if this stuff is really worth the hype. But, before we get to the balance sheet, let's set the stage a little.
Good idea.
Because this concept, it feels so new, but it's been around for a while, hasn't it?
It has. If you really want to be technical, the smart home kind of started with the clapper.
The clapper. Clap on, clap off.
Yeah.
I had one. It worked maybe 50% of the time.
It was the pinnacle of 80s tech. But honestly, for a long time, that's all home automation was. Remote control. You push a button, the garage door opens.
It was binary, on or off.
Exactly. The shift we're living through right now, and this is the key distinction, is the move from remote control to actual automation.
Meaning the house is making the decisions for me, not the other way around.
That's it. It's the difference between a tool and an assistant. We've moved into an era of AI-powered systems. It's no longer about you pulling out your phone to lower the temperature.
Right.
It's about the thermostat learning your schedule over a few weeks, realizing you leave for work at 8 a.m., and automatically dialing down the heat at 8.05 to save energy, all without you touching it.
That's the Jetsons appeal right there.
Uh-huh.
But I have to play devil's advocate. I can just walk over and turn the dial down myself. It takes 3 seconds. Is it really worth hundreds of dollars for that?
If you remember to do it every single time, sure. But we're human. We're terrible at consistency. The value here isn't just about laziness, it's about efficiency.
And that leads us right to the money question.
Does this stuff actually pay for itself?
Okay, let's dig into the ROI. Because I see the price tags on these things, and my wallet hurts just looking at them.
It's an investment, no doubt, but the savings are real if you target the right things. We need to talk about phantom energy.
Phantom energy. It sounds like a comic book villain.
It kind of is for your utility bill. Think about your cable box, your game console, that phone charger you leave plugged in. Go touch them when they're off.
They're always a little warm.
Exactly. That warmth is wasted electricity. It's heat. We call it a vampire draw. Smart plugs can actually cut the circuit at the wall, completely killing power to those devices.
Okay, but a few chargers. We're talking pennies, right?
Pennies add up. But you're right, the real heavy hitters are HVAC and lighting. The data suggests smart thermostats and smart lighting can lead to annual energy savings of 10 to 25%.
25% is actually significant. If my bill is $200, that's $50 a month.
Right. And heating and cooling, that's roughly half of a home's entire energy use. So the HVAC control is the biggest target by far. You combine that with LED smart bulbs, which use up to 80% less energy than the old incandescents, you start to see a real dent.
But let's do the math. A full professional system, wired in. We're talking thousands, aren't we?
A DIY setup could start around $500. A professional comprehensive system could easily be $5,000, maybe more.
So the break even.
The data shows the break-even point is typically 2 to 5 years just from the energy savings.
2 to 5 years. That feels optimistic. Does that even account for the cost of hiring an electrician?
In many cases, yes, because you aren't just saving on the monthly bill, you're also looking at asset value. This was the stat in the research that really surprised me.
Yep.
69% of home buyers would pay more for a home that already has smart tech installed.
Almost 70%. Wow. I would have thought people would see it as a headache they have to inherit.
Not anymore. It's becoming an expectation, kind of like granite countertops were 10 years ago. Estimates show smart features can command a 3 to 5% premium on property value.
So on a $300,000 home, you're talking about, what, up to $15,000?
Potentially, yeah. So even if you don't make the money back in electricity, you could get it back at the closing table.
Plus, what about insurance? I've heard about that.
Don't forget insurance. Many providers offer discounts of 5 to 15% for monitored smart security systems, especially for things like water leak or fire detection.
Okay, the financial case is a lot stronger than I thought. It's not just toys. But let's pivot to the lifestyle side. Security is a big one. To me, this seems like the gateway drug for most people.
It usually starts with the video doorbell, yes. It's
Mhm.
remote monitoring. But the real value isn't just seeing the delivery guy. It's about proactive alerts. Getting a ping on your phone if a window opens unexpectedly, or if a water sensor in the basement detects moisture while you're on vacation.
That water sensor one is huge.
Yeah,
A flooded basement is an absolute nightmare.
it's catastrophic. And smart locks are another game changer. It just ends the era of hiding a key under the welcome mat.
Which is, the first place any burglar is going to look.
Exactly. With a smart lock, you grant temporary digital access, let the dog walker in from noon to 1, and then that code just expires. You have a perfect log of who entered and when.
In the research, there was a phrase that jumped out at me about security and lighting. They called it the winter LED strategy. It sounds very military.
It does, but it's a crucial concept. Think about winter. The sun sets at, what, 4:30? 5?
Yeah, it's the season of the dark void. You get home and it already feels like midnight.
That darkness is a massive liability. If your home or business has old, dim, or broken outdoor lighting, it just looks abandoned. It's not just about aesthetics, it's a safety issue.
It's an invitation.
A well-lit exterior eliminates hiding spots. So the strategy is using efficient, automated LEDs to make sure the moment dusk hits, your property is bathed in light. It signals occupied and watched.
That makes perfect sense. But there's one more layer here before we get to the scary wiring stuff, and that's the human element. Accessibility.
We call it aging in place, and this is where the tech stops being cool and starts being absolutely vital.
Right. My grandmother fell a few years ago just trying to get to a light switch in the middle of the night.
That is a startlingly common scenario. With automation, you can have motion sensors, so the moment her feet hit the floor, the hallway lights glow at, say, 20%. No more stumbling in the dark.
And voice controls.
Oh, huge. If you have arthritis or mobility issues, just being able to lock the doors or change the temperature by speaking, it removes a massive physical barrier.
It gives people their independence back in a real way.
It really does. But, and here's the giant asterisk we need to put on this whole conversation.
I was waiting for the but.
You cannot just layer this Ferrari engine on top of a Model T chassis.
Okay, here we go. The hidden reality. This is where you tell me why I can't just buy a smart switch at the hardware store and slap it on my wall.
You can try, but if your home is older than 20 years, you're likely going to run into a brick wall or a wiring wall. We call it the 20-year rule.
Why 20 years? What changed?
It's about how we used to wire light switches.
Oh.
In the past, a switch was just a simple interrupter. It broke the circuit. It didn't need a neutral wire to work.
And a smart switch does.
A smart switch is a tiny computer. It has a radio inside. It needs power 24/7 to listen for your voice or the Wi-Fi signal. If you don't have that neutral wire, which many pre-2000s homes don't have in the switch box, your fancy switch just won't power up.
So you open up the wall and nothing.
That's the specific hurdle most DIYers hit. They open it up and go, wait, I'm missing a wire. And unless you hire an electrician to run new lines, you're stuck.
It goes beyond just that one wire, I'm guessing.
It's the whole panel. Modern houses just consume drastically more power.
We've got EVs, dual monitors, air fryers.
Exactly. Older panels, often 100-amp service, just weren't built for that kind of load. You start adding all these always-on smart devices, you might need a panel upgrade to 200 amps just to be safe and code compliant.
And I assume Wi-Fi is part of this infrastructure talk too, because my Wi-Fi can be pretty spotty.
That's the other bottleneck. People hear smart home and they think wireless, But the backbone really needs to be wired.
You mean running Ethernet cables?
Yes, Cat6 Ethernet cables for anything critical that doesn't move, your TVs, your security cameras. If you rely 100% on Wi-Fi for everything, you're going to create a massive traffic jam. A wired network keeps the airwaves clear for your phone and laptop.
That makes sense. But let's go back to the DIY thing. I walk into the hardware store, I see the smart switch, and I think, I can do this. I watched a video. It's 2 wires and a ground.
And that mindset is exactly what keeps electricians up at night. The sources we looked at were very, very clear. DIY electrical work is a minefield.
Okay, give me the horror story. What happens if I mess it up?
Well, besides the obvious risk of, electrocuting yourself, you can create hidden fire hazards. I've seen photos where homeowners used masking tape to join wires because they ran out of wire nuts.
Masking tape? Are you serious?
I am dead serious. It works for a week, then it starts arncing inside the wall, heating up the insulation, and eventually you have a fire. And guess what? If the insurance adjuster finds out unpermitted DIY work caused that fire.
Your policy is void.
Wow.
Okay. There was also a specific example in the notes about ceiling fans.
Ah, the heavy fixture scenario, a classic DIY fail.
It's just hooking up wires though, right?
No, it's a structural engineering project. People buy these huge, heavy, smart fans or crystal chandeliers, and they try to hang them on a standard plastic electrical box.
The kind that's meant for a simple light bulb.
Exactly. It's rated for maybe 10 pounds. You hang a 50-pound dynamic load of spinning fan on that, and eventually it just rips out of the ceiling. It's about the bracing, not just the wires.
Okay, point taken. Don't mess with gravity or electricity. But there's one more invisible threat we need to cover. Surges.
Yes. If you spend $5,000 on smart tech, you have to protect it. And people think, oh, I've got a power strip behind my TV, I'm good.
I am one of those people.
That is not enough. We're not just talking about lightning. We're talking about internal voltage spikes. Every time your AC compressor kicks on, it sends a mini surge through your home's wiring.
Really? I had no idea.
It happens dozens of times a day. And for sensitive electronics, the computer in your smart fridge, the chips in your LED bulbs, those micro spikes degrade them over time. It shortens the lifespan of everything.
So what's the solution?
Whole house surge protection. It's a device installed right at your electrical panel. It acts as a gatekeeper for the entire house. It's non-negotiable if you're making this kind of investment.
All right, I'm sufficiently scared into hiring a professional. Let's lighten the mood a bit. Let's talk about the look of it all. Because smart homes, they actually look different too.
They do. There's a big design trend away from bulky fixtures and towards recessed lighting. Can lights.
The whole less is more vibe.
Exactly. Tucking the fixtures into the ceiling reclaims all that visual space, makes the room feel bigger. But the smart part is controlling the color temperature.
This is the circadian rhythm thing, right?
Yes. It's not just about turning your living room purple for a party, though you can do that. It's about the warmth of the white light. You can program it to be a bright, cool daylight white at 10 a.m. to help you focus.
And then it shifts.
And then it automatically shifts to a warm amber glow at 7 p.m. to help your brain wind down for sleep. It changes the entire atmosphere of a room.
That's actually really nice. Okay, so we've covered a lot. History, money, safety hazards, style. But I'm putting myself in the listener's shoes right now. I'm interested, but I'm also kind of overwhelmed. Where do I start?
It's easy to get paralysis by analysis. The best advice is to just follow a simple roadmap. Don't go buy a bunch of gadgets.
What's step 1?
Identify a pain point. Don't buy a solution that's looking for a problem.
Right.
What annoys you every day? Are you always forgetting your keys? Start with a smart lock. Fighting over the thermostat. Start there.
Solve a real problem first. I like that. Step 2.
Infrastructure check. Before you buy anything, look at your wiring. Do you have neutral wires? Is your Wi-Fi decent? If your house is older, maybe get an electrical inspection first.
And then it's about picking a team, like Apple, Amazon, Google.
Pretty much. Choose an ecosystem. They're all playing nicer together now with new standards like Matter, but it's still simpler to pick one lane and stick to it.
And if we go the professional route, which after the masking tape story I'm definitely doing, what should we be asking the electrician?
Don't just ask if they can install a switch. Ask about their specific experience with smart platforms. Ask for examples of similar projects. And crucially, ask about post-installation support.
That seems vital. Who do I call when my doorbell stops working?
Exactly. You want a partner, not just an installer. Someone who gets both the electrical and the network side of things.
So let's wrap this all up. Home automation is clearly more than hype. It's a blend of convenience, real energy savings, and security.
But And I can't stress this enough, it's all built on a foundation of basic electrical physics. It requires a solid, safe grid in your home. It's an investment in your infrastructure, not just a bunch of plastic toys.
It's about making the house work for you instead of the other way around.
That's the goal. And here's the thought for you to walk away with. If your house could think, really think, what is the one problem you'd want it to solve for you before you even walked through the door?
Oh, that's a good one. For me, it's knowing if I left the iron on.
See? That's your starting point. Smart plug, problem solved.
I love that. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us. I promise you'll look at your light switches a little differently from now on.
Stay safe and stay smart.
Catch you on the next deep dive.